Welcome everyone to this live stream. Today we have a very special moment where we are bringing 8 awesome open source legends, and the first one here that I'm going to introduce is Mr. Virgil. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. How are you?
Hello. I'm fine. What about you, Orc?
Yeah, I'm always good. You know me, man. How are you doing? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, okay, so I'm Virgil. I'm 29 years old. I'll go with the long description.
Yes, not entire
so,
CV, just like 30, 60 seconds so people can like know you a little bit better, then we'll move on.
I've been coding for 5 years and I've been specializing with Remix. I'm working with Remix professionally. So that's how I got kind of famous on the French market. I have a French YouTube channel where I create Remix content. And that's how we met, I guess.
Yes, on X. Awesome. Thank you very much, Virgil. And the next one that we have here is the legend himself. You know him also from live streams and from the Horde. It's Mr. Francois.
Hello. How are you doing?
How are you doing, my man?
Yeah, doing good. Super excited for this.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. If somebody here doesn't know you.
Sure.
And let's hear you chat for Francois.
Yeah. So yeah, my name is François Best. I'm a freelance software engineer from Grenoble in the French Alps, second French person on the chat, on the stream. And I've been coding for 15, 16 years now. Previously in the music industry and for the last 8 years or so in web dev. And I do a lot of open source. One of the projects I might be known for is Nux, a type-safe search program state manager for React. So your state in the URL. And yeah, that's what I've been working on for a good while. And it's very interesting to see it take off, and happy to talk more about OSS and all with you guys.
Yes, can't wait. Awesome. Thank you, Francois. And next legend that we have here is my favorite Italian, sorry, Nico, and that's Francesco. And there he is.
Thank you so much, Orco, for inviting me. Let's make some noise in the chat, please. Do I have to introduce myself? I'm Francesco. Yes. I make videos on the internet and I like Rust. That's it. The longer I stay on the internet, the shorter the intro.
Yes, hey. Frost DK. Awesome.
Frost DK main spec, yes.
Okay. Next legend that we have here is Hayden. Hello there, Hayden. How are you doing, my man?
7 a.m. I'm fresh as a morning flower, mate. How are you?
Doing good.
Well, thanks for
Tell us
me.
a little bit about yourself. I think everyone here knows you, but maybe somebody doesn't know so.
Sure. Well, I'm Hayden Bleasel. I'm a DX engineer at Vercel. I mostly just build a lot of web software and tooling and AI libraries and Shadcn and UI components. If you have seen me across the internet, it's probably for Ultraside, which is like my linter formatter thing, Kibo, which is like a component library, or Streamdown, which is like this markdown renderer thing that I built for Vercel.
So many projects. I can't wait to hear like all your plans for 2026. I think this one will be amazing. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. And next one that we have here is the man, Alem, the Bosnian legend.
Hey, everybody. And hey, Orc and the Horde.
Hey. How are you doing, Alem?
I'm doing great. I hope everybody's doing great as well. So my name is Alem. For those of you who don't know me, I do a lot of open source. I've been doing it, well, I've been doing software for a decade. And lately I've been doing dev tooling mostly. I started with React Auto Dev Tools and the React and Remix ecosystem, and then I kind of shifted over towards 10stack. I do 10stack Dev Tools and 10stack AI at the moment. And yeah, that's pretty much it about me.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Alan. This will be one interesting year. And next one that we have is Andras. Hello, my man. Are you? I am pronouncing your name right.
Yeah, you are. So hey, awesome. Thanks for inviting me. My name is András. I'm working in open source tools for, I don't know, 8+ years, and I'm a developer since I was a kid. And I'm mainly known for an application called Coolify, and but I have a bunch of other projects that I'm working on at the moment. Hey, Shadow from chat. Hey. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, man. You're really a legend. So glad to see you here. And the last one, I don't know if we are like fitting all on this screen, but let's try it out. And here we have Mr. Ryan.
Hey. How we doing, guys?
Doing good. We are fitting on the screen, so that's good. This is probably maximum or something like that.
Yeah, we're getting to the screen limits and everything like that. Anyways, My name is Ryan. If you don't know me, that's really impressive, but I am notorious on Twitter for basically developing everything, including, as some of you guys are saying, the email guy. I made Inbound, a email API that's super easy to use and fully open source. So I think it's one of the only like full stack email things that are fully open source. But I do a lot of other stuff, especially with AI. Big AI guy. I'm actually vibe coding as we speak right now. I don't know if you believe me, but I got open code just running right now. So that's me.
Awesome. Thank you, man. This will be really interesting. Okay. So now when we introduced everyone, we can start talking what we actually built in 2025. So we'll have all these legends share their screen for you, and they will show you what they built and how they built it, what kind of problems they faced on those projects, and I think you are going to enjoy this one. So do we have any volunteers here, or should I just like say who is the first one?
I'll volunteer myself because literally less than a minute ago, if you check my Twitter, let me pull it up so that way it's everyone in the chat may or may not know this, but I literally just shipped something. Yeah, Hayden, if you could pull that up while I'm getting my screen. If you go to my Twitter, I just shipped something less than 2 seconds ago. Let's see, share my screen. If we're able to get my screen share. This feels like a morning stand-up. Be like, can you guys see my screen? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, there it is.
There we go. So yesterday, approximately 18 hours ago, Reese was like, hey, this is a great idea to do like a micro SaaS that makes it super easy to access Gmail, GCal, any other annoying data. So I'm like, all right, Thanos meme, fine, I'll do it myself. So I built Workspace, which is essentially everything that Reese wanted and better. And it just is what the tweet is. It's currently compatible with Gmail. You can get your email messages, send emails, get a specific email. You can get calendar events, list, create, get, update, delete, everything like that. It's $5 a month just for the hosting costs and everything like that. And the best part is it's fully open source. So if you want to go and add Microsoft support or some other vague third-party plugin or something like that, and you implement a feature, then I'll give you free access type of thing. And I just shipped this. Like, look at the Git commit. Let's see. Let me refresh this. 17 hours ago, 1 hour ago. That doesn't look accurate. I just shipped some stuff. The last thing is like right now. But yeah, so I built that. Another thing I built that's fully open source is what you are probably most notoriously, what I'm most notoriously known for is Inbound. And this will be a fun thing for chat because we got a live chat right here. Everyone, this is the homepage. I didn't log into the account. I am logged in, but this is like a real thing. See this email address right here, chat? Let me zoom in a little bit. See this email address right here? I want everyone to send an email to this email address, if we can. Everyone in the studio, too. I'm going to see if I can post it in chat. Oh, it's not going to let me. Anyways, try to send an email to that email address. And we're going to do a live test. If this doesn't work, then I might need to retire from an my AI job. But it is the best way to kind of demonstrate what Inbound does. Yeah, let me post the link here. There's the email address. shiolo@inbox.inbound.new. And this is funny because this kind of did a twofold thing. And I'm sure a lot of the other devs who have gotten .new domains. Oh, there we go. There's one. Hi, Ryan. Cool stream BTW. Oh, discount code Hayden. I've already talked to you about this. I can't give you discount codes on stream. This is, come on now. This is live streamed in. This is using inbound in the back end with Upstash real time as the sort of connector. But it's so cool because this complies with the .new domain regulation that Google has, which was the biggest. Yep, we got another one. Look at that, org dev. There we go. They're all kind of popping in. And this was like a fun way that I was like, I can demonstrate the product, but I can also comply with the Google.new, which has to initiate something new every time you go to the homepage, which this is a new email address. Really funny story. Someone was abusing this as an inbox, like for generating like throwaway emails and stuff like that. They were coming here, copying this, and essentially setting up a script to run and sign up for Lovable and everything like that. So I had to add some AI rules with Inbound Guard, which is like an AI rule detector. And then I had to reach out to Lovable to be like, hey, don't allow any signups with inbox.inbound.run. Leaking your email. Yes, I'm leaking everyone's email. Come on, guys. No one's going to leak because we're all good friends here. But that's Inbound. It's also fully open source. If I can find the GitHub page right here. Am I still sharing this? Yes, I am. So
Yes.
we can go to Inbound, and the entire repository is open source. Everything from the AWS stack to the end Vercel deployment is completely open source. So yeah, if you're looking to make some cool stuff, just make it open source. There's no real reason not to do it. But Inbound, Workspace Connect, a bunch of other things that we probably don't have time to cover is what I built in 2025. And I mean, I just built this in 2026 in about 10 hours. So yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome, man. This was
Any questions?
Share with us if you had any problems with Inbound in 2025.
Oh, so many problems. It was like a constant stream of problems. But that's the thing where it's like the problems will arise. That's the one thing that you can count on. But what you just can't forget and remember is you just got to fix them as they come along. Let me try to think of an example. For example, there was a issue one time that there was a large amount of mail.ru email addresses that were signing up via the login that was like a magic link type of thing. So they could essentially, hypothetically, create an unlimited amount of free tier accounts. And that was just abusing the hell out of the service. And it was just so bad. So I did a couple of things where I, one, removed the free tier. That was probably one of the most controversial things that I did in 2025 at the tail end, because Inbound had been around for about 9 months. And I had maybe like 8 paying customers. And the paying customers were great. They weren't abusing limits or anything like that. And it was just the free tier users that were just abusing everything. And it was just making the platform unsustainable. And obviously, I'm not VC backed. I don't have any sort of investment into this. And I'm just trying to make this a solid stack choice for anyone who can bet their entire project on this, that this will be around for the future type of thing. So I don't want someone to be able to sign up for a pro plan and then Inbound disappear within a year or something like that. I want something sustainable. So I got rid of the free plan, replaced it for a $4 a month plan, which made the entire project so much more sustainable. All of the server bills and fees and stuff like that are paid for. We're now net profits. That way I can invest into things like SOC 2 compliance. But the issue with the mail.ru, like the Russian scammers, I guess you would call them, not all Russians are scammers, but just these particular was. But they were just abusing the fraud and bounces and compliance and stuff like that. And that actually led me to one of the biggest features where every time that email is sent, AI does like a pre-flight on it to say like, hey, is this a scam email? And it assigns it a fraud and risk score that essentially gets saved to be like, hey, is this kind of sketchy? So then I can get a Slack notification whenever something occurs. And then if we have time, the other biggest feature that I launched was Inbound Guard, which I'm sure all of you guys know from your regular inboxes and emails and stuff like that, is you can set up like explicit rules like if OrcDev emails me from email address, route it to this folder type of thing. But that's good. But what if someone leaks your email address when you're going to go speak at a Vercel conference and the Vercel CEO did something very controversial and you are now getting spammed over and over and over again, up to 6,000 individual emails a day. And let me, if you could hide my screen really quick, OrcDev, while I navigate to my email, just so I don't like leak anything. Here we go. All right, you can share it now. So this is before I implemented Inbound Guard. And as you can tell, there are 3,000 emails. I had cleared out 14,000 emails of this please cancel your speaking engagement with Vercel type of thing. It's a very interesting type of attack that, just for awareness, is basically they have a form where you can enter in your email address, your name, and maybe a message or something like that. And then it uses AI to generate a different type of form of the message. So it's kind of like a free speech type of thing. But every time they email you, it's from that person's own individual email, which means that you can't block it from like a single domain or a single email address. So that's how I had to get creative with Inbound Guard. So basically, instead of doing explicit rules, I had to set up an AI rule, which basically every time an email came in, it would evaluate to see if it has something to do with Vercel's CEO or something like that. And it would block it with the spam. And in the end, so over the next few hours, it blocked 2,800 emails overall. And this is a crazy stat to believe. Inbound Guard blocked over 35,000 emails that came in from this stuff. It was insane, but it was just another thing where it's like, you really don't know how to fix real world problems until you deploy your project and just get it out there and build it. So if any of you guys are sitting behind an open source project or just a personal project with a wait list, take it off, ship it, and just start getting feedback from your users.
Thank you, Ryan. Let's pick now our next legend, and that's Mr. Francois. Let's hear, how was your 2025?
It was good. Very, very good. I actually had the same emails as Ryan. I did not have Inbound to do the AI for me to help.
Got to get on Inbound.
Yeah. Most of it I managed to filter out with classic spam rules and keyword detection, because some of them were indeed generated with AI. The message was generated with AI, which made it different every single time. But at some point they stopped that because it was probably costing them too much money. And they just went through the same message being generated and sent through fake emails, which are either spoofed or the names are clearly faked, so like they're generated with AI as well. So anyway, apart from that, 2025 was pretty good. If we go on the Nux blog, I posted a recap, as everybody did at the end of the year, of the things that I did in 2025 regarding to Nux. And essentially, when I started at the end of 2024, beginning of 2025, it was going well, but it really started exploding when I started doing conferences. And being able to speak about my work was like really the highlight of 2025 for me, because it allowed me to meet a lot of people. So I went to React Paris, met Ken C. Dodds, Tejas, David K. Piano from the State Machines, and a lot of people, Dominic TK Dodo from 10stack as well. And that was incredible, being able to meet all these people and to talk with them. And I remember we had a chat at some point between Kent or Dominic, myself, and all around the table about the deep knowledge of React, how the concurrent React work with suspense boundaries, what happens if something is suspending and it's in the middle of hydration or things like that. That was really cool, because it was the first time I was literally in a room with all these experts and being able to talk to them live. It's like the physical equivalent of tech Twitter, and that was really cool, this experience. So that started like that, and then it kept on going. I went to Next.js Conf as well, where I met Ryan in San Francisco, and I also participated to the hackathon that was there, and we won it also, which was completely crazy. And then the conference as well. And last conference I went to was React Advanced London, where I met more people over there. So that was really, really cool. The conference side of open source is, I think, the best part, because you get to meet the people, and everything that we do is sure about code, but it's mostly about people. It's what makes doing open source worth it. Otherwise, we'd just be spreading our work to AI agents and just not installing everything and everything. It's the social relationship that open source brings between people, between the maintainers and the consumers, that makes it worth it, I think. The discussions that we can have in GitHub issues, on Twitter, everywhere, all this social link that gets created through open code, I think, is the real value in open source. And I realized that by going to conferences, by meeting people, by talking to them directly, because you can kind of feel that in public discussion boards, like on Discord, on GitHub, on Twitter as well. But once you literally go and talk face to face with people, have a drink with them, and like, this opens up a lot the reasons why we do these things, I think. And so that was the really cool thing. I see talks about microphones here, which triggers me, because I used to be an audio engineer, and I'm working on a course at the moment, which I don't know if it's live localhost. Yes, how to sound good. This is going to be my focus next year. We'll come back to that at some point. But I see they're talking about microphone. This microphone is a SM57, not an SM7B, FYI. And yeah, what I did in 2025, I signed up for the open source pledge. That was also a thing, which I think is worth mentioning, is open source, especially right now, we saw that with Tailwind, has a major problem, which is funding. And this needs to be addressed. And there is this organization, the Open Source Pledge, which started with, it was created by Sentry, by people at Sentry. And its goal is to find ways to thank the maintainers, to fund the maintainers of the projects that we depend on. And it's super important, because we're all building open source software, and hopefully, I think we all want to build more open source software, but that means we have to spend more time doing so. And so we need to find funding to do that. And so that project is essentially about that, bringing visibility to the companies that do contribute to the supporting of open source software. So with the gains from the hackathon, I could sign up Nux. And so Nux is now a proud member of the Open Source Pledge. So that was a little goal that I had at the beginning of 2025, which was a bit crazy, but I said, like, if I have the funds, I'll definitely do it. And I was very happy to be able to do that. And I will try and do it again this year. And so that was the other part. So speaking at conferences and joining the pledge. That was my goals for 2025, which I'm happy to say that I have reached. So yeah, I think obviously there were lots of wins in terms of Nux itself, in terms of stats and everything. I think I detailed that in the blog post. Where is it? Yeah, all the stats went up. That's fine. But the real reason is the people. It's the finding more people to join this social graph. The Horde was a good way to join more people like this, because it's a gathering of open source maintainers and newcomers in this field, and a way to guide them throughout this ever-changing landscape, I guess. With AI, everything is moving very fast. But the Horde was really nice with meeting you, OrgDev, in consolidating the social graph, because, as you say it very well, no warrior fights alone. It's a game where we all work together to provide value, open code, and help each other build our products. And so this is like one of the highlights that I put at the end of the blog post is like the Horde, especially you, OrgDev, and all the work you've been doing towards open source with this. And so yeah, that was a good thing to do. So join the Horde if you're on chat. There'll be the link in the chat somewhere or in the description. And the Horde is a Discord channel, and it's also a community. It's a way of life, essentially. So there we go. That was my the things that I did in 2025.
Awesome. Thank you, Francois. And you have one good question if you want to answer now.
Yes,
because
go
it's
ahead.
really for you and for Nux. There it is highlighted.
It's pretty feature complete. Is it mainly in maintenance mode, or do I plan new features for it? Yes, I do plan new features, at least one good new feature. A lot of the plans that I have are more like under the hood that you probably won't see too much. You might see side features, things like DevTools, things like little helpers, or more stable, some behaviors that will become more stable with it. In terms of big features, I don't think so. I mean, the URL is kind of limited in what you can do with it. But there is one new API that I'm cooking that I'm really looking forward to ship, because it's going to make your code about 80% cleaner, and might make it easier to work with, your agents to work with. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I'll tell more about this soon. As for the rest, I think maintenance mode, I think it comes from expansion in terms of what we support. So there is a lot of work to be done to bring better support for 10-stack start, for example, which is exploding at the moment. So obviously there are some impedance mismatch between the way 10-stack start does search params and the way Nux thinks about them. So there are a few challenges in there to make sure that it works as well as it does in the other frameworks. And each framework essentially has a few friction points that we could work on in order to make it a little bit more nice to work with. Things like, for example, key isolation in Next.js, the fact that when you change one search param, everything re-renders. It'd be nice if we could find a way around that. There are some ideas that I need to explore. The main issue that I have with this is time. I guess agents could help with this, but I found they don't. Maybe it's a skill issue, but I don't find them very useful in terms of going where I want them to go. So definitely a skill issue. We'll probably come back to talking about AI a bit more at some point. But yeah, that's it. These are the plans for Nux.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Next one we have, let's see, Mr. Francesco. Let's hear a little bit from you and your 2025.
Yeah, sure. So my 2025 has been incredible. I literally didn't stop for a moment. I haven't done so much open source as I wish I could have done, but I did something, even something that I think we can try during this live event. And hi everyone, by the way, say hi in the chat. Yes, Orca. So I can share the screen. It's here. So I worked on some very way smaller projects than other people here. One of the things that I've been building is this rustcrab.com, which is basically, it's the beginning, of course, of a platform. I want to create a platform to help people to learn Rust. It's really at the beginning phase. I honestly, I've abandoned this a bit, but the core idea is to have a place where I will share lessons, dev tools related to Rust, some data structure examples, some projects. These are also some of the lessons. These books, this has been done before I published that. And also here I have all the book compendium. So all the code of the book is for free here in this open source project. Not many people know this, but this is connected to that. So I've been working quite a lot on this part. There are also some contributors, and this is one project that I really want to go back in doing this here. And some other things. I've been building some projects. For example, this one I think is interesting. So when I wanted to go to a conference, but then don't lose track of questions. We can even try. I don't know if this is still it's still working. So I called this talk buddy. So basically, I can share now this link in the chat, and these questions will just appear here, for example. Because when I go to talks, then if some people make some questions, I might miss them. So this is still not perfect, but for example, you can go on a talk and you can share a QR code at the end of your talk. I can try now. Be kind, of course. And then you have track of this one, okay? I don't know if you should stop sharing, but I want to believe in the people once. Yes. Okay, so you have something like this. Of course, this might be improved. I think now it's just storing this. I don't have a real DB below, but it's cool because often I forget the questions at the end of a talk, and I can even I can remove them because I have I think password or something like that. Okay, so this is something that might even be useful for someone. What else? Yeah, drop some questions here. Do you prefer a rusty crab or a crabby rust? Rusty crab for sure. Then other small projects that I did, most of them for my talks. So I wanted to compare programming languages. Of course, you can guess with which one. But I thought that having a single table was a bit boring. So I created this very small project that lets you create FIFA-like stats for something, basically whatever you want. This is available for everyone, and you can type here something, and basically it creates, that famous hexagon thing. So, for example, I use that to compare Rust to C, Go, and other things. You can even download the PNG. So, most of my small projects are connected to my talks. And then, and also this one, I really want to go back on this, Streamlify. I also have a good domain here. Someone helped me, invited me, basically to get ideas for live streams. So people can submit ideas, and then you can keep track of them. So very small, super small projects. I think I've done them, say, probably in a few hours. And I think that's it on my side. And I have some other projects, of course, for 2026, but let's say that 2025 I slacked on the open source side, but I'm happy that I'm here. Thank you so much for inviting me. You can write in the chat which is your favorite World of Warcraft class. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Francesco. Yeah, make sure to say your favorite World of Warcraft class.
We have a questions.
You heard it well. Yes, you can answer.
Is Rust like JavaScript? I think this is an insult. We can build for web, mobile, etc. Yes, we do. We have something called WASM, of course, and there are also some new frameworks. One of them is called the Dioxus. This is probably not the place to go deep with that, but I would say why not? But this would make me fight with everyone in the chat, which I'm up to. But yes, so absolutely, for sure, for web development, especially backend, I don't see the reason why we should use a different language. But you can come and fight me. And I really love the Warlock class. That has been my first class in Burning Crusade.
Awesome. Thank you, Francesco. We'll fight, definitely. Okay, so the next fighter, we are getting here Mr. Andras. And chat, we have a mission to make him laugh. So let me see some jokes that will make Andras laugh in this live stream. We need to, I managed to do it with AI on that video on X, but I want to see it now.
So yeah, hey. So yeah, I'm building mostly Coolify for the past, I don't know, 4+ years now. Oh my God. Yeah, full time. It's an open source application that you can use to host your own applications, databases, and basically anything. And yeah, it's totally open source and free, everything. It has a cloud option, but basically you get the same thing in the open source version. So there's no restrictions or anything like that. And yeah, I'm still don't get it. How could I make a business out of it? And of course, thanks to all the sponsors, basically that's helping a lot. And also the cloud instance, which funny thing is that the cloud instance was just a, I would say it, a small idea that what if I do this and provide Coolify as an instance in the cloud? And yeah, it turned out that it was a pretty good idea, because that's how the business works at the moment. That's how I'm basically generating revenue. And yeah, so basically you can think of Coolify as a Vercel alternative. I don't know, Heroku kind of thing, but basically you have the servers in your hands, not in some third-party hands, let's say. And yeah, I basically built this whole year, last year, because I think I released more than roughly around 100 versions. I'm not counting, to be honest, because I'm currently in the 460 released version, so a lot. And yeah, and fun fact, we will go in a non-beta state soon, hopefully in January. And yeah, and as you can heard it, I'm talking in like we, because I'm not the only one working on it. So basically I have a developer who is helping me full-time, and we have 2 community supporters, because yeah, the community is it's pretty huge. We are almost 20,000 people on Discord, and yeah, a ton of people using it, and they have questions, a few ones. So yeah, you can imagine, as if you are working in open source, which is, yeah, let's say kind of popular, then you will know what I'm talking about. And yeah, we also reached, almost reached 50,000 stars, which still does not pay you the rent, but it looks cool. Yeah, and before I forgot, I was a Holy Paladin all the time. So that's it. But I'm not playing World of Warcraft, unfortunately. And on the other hand, I worked on smaller applications like this one, which kind of look nothing, but basically it's a Google Fonts replacement, and you can also self-host it if you want. And yeah, it's, I don't know, it's roughly had around 10 to 12 million requests per month, so it's, yeah, kind of used, let's say. And other than that, I'm currently working on some AI related stuffs, which I call Jean, like the Jean-Claude Van Damme, if you know. It's using code behind the scenes, so that's why I named it Jean. It basically UI, and a native application that you can use to manage multiply cloud instances and cloud CLIs, let's say, in a GUI way, so in a better way, let's say. And I kind of enjoy it to make it, basically, because yeah, this is the original logo. Oops, sorry, maybe am I sharing? Oh,
No,
I'm
I think
sharing
it's
the
yeah,
wrong
that
screen,
one.
I think, yeah. So this is how it looks like at the moment, and this is the logo, which is very cool. Yes, AI generated. Jean,
Jean,
yeah. And yeah, it basically helps my own development flow a lot, because I can work on multiple things all the time. And yeah, it will be open source soon, as soon as I wrap up a few things, let's say a few hiccups. And yeah, not sure what should I show or tell. So yeah, it was a crazy year, definitely. It wasn't the biggest growth in any metrics, but yeah, still I today I still can't believe that I managed to do this, because the whole idea was just, let's say that one day I just sit at my computer and thinking that, can I make something that I just execute and it deploys my application to a server kind of thing? And yeah, I basically spent 2 days of writing the backend stuff, so there was no UI or anything like that. But it was basically the basic feature of how Coolify works. And then I just was like, okay, I could build this. What if I add something like this and that and so on? So this is how it all started. And yeah, it grown my head, let's say. But I really enjoy it. I really like to work with people. I really like to work on issues which not visible all the time, as we have almost 600 issues, but yeah. But Jean will have a cool feature that it will, while I'm not working. So for example, I can set that, let's say I will sleep from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., let's say. Then it will fetch all the issues, all the new issues, all the PRs, and try to not solve them, but generate some kind of context that I can just use on the next day. That, okay, I sit down, okay, I see that there are 5 new issues, and there are already an AI check that if it's valid and not valid, what we can do, and then so on and so on.
Zoom in a little bit, Andras. People cannot see it.
I'm not sure how can I zoom it, because it's already zoomed. Well, you can see it on my Twitter profile. It's full of it in the last week, but yeah, I'm not sure how can I zoom it, because I'm fully zoomed. Yeah, not sure. So yeah, and basically that's it.
Yeah, you have one good question if you want to answer.
Yep.
There it is.
What's your monetization strategy? What are the next steps for Coolify? So yeah, as I said, currently there's the cloud option, which is generating revenue, and the sponsors, and basically that's it for me to live happily and to pay free people to help me. And basically the next steps would be, well, we are currently rewriting Coolify on the backend, because currently you could have a fully load balanced, like kind of serverless thing with Coolify, but it's not the best, let's say. And we are rewriting it to be able to scale it like a cloud. So basically like Vercel or anything like that, but on your own servers. And yeah, for that we need to rewrite a few things here and there, but and also it will get a very new UI that will probably not be on Livewire. Not sure if you are familiar with Laravel Livewire. And yeah, and to keep alive the project, because people love it and they are opening a lot of issues and PRs, which I'm thankful, but stressful. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Sorry, best codes. We'll leave questions for later for the Q&A. And we're going with our next legend. Thank you, Andras. And that is Mr. Hayden.
Yo, yeah, I was actually just searching myself to see what I did in 2025, because it was a long year. I found this tweet that I put out where I was covering everything. Wait, did I share my screen? Did that work? Yeah, cool. Anyway, let me see if I can remember without looking at this. So I think at the start of the year, this is probably the first like larger open source project that I started putting out there. So I was working on this after hours at the last company that I was at. And it was kind of like, it was just a template to like help me build applications a lot faster. So it's a, long story short, it's a turbo repo template with like, I think it's like 5 Next.js apps or something. There's like the app, there's the API, the website, the email client, which runs off like React email and resend. Oh, there's 7. Oh my God. that's how long it's been. There's like a Docs, Prisma Studio, and Storybook. So you've got like all of these apps ready to build some like production, grade level like startup. And then the packages inside of this is like, I don't know, 20 or 30 of them. There's like an AI package, a CMS package, a database package, a internationalization package, or whatever. So this was kind of like my attempt at like the, ultimate production grade level turbo repo and like what that looks like at scale. And so after I put this out there, I put it on GitHub, and I sort of grew it to, I think it was around about like 5,000 stars or something like that. And then Vercel took notice of that. They ended up bringing it under their banner, and that's kind of how I joined the Vercel team. And so that was in like, I don't know, somewhere between January and March. I don't really remember. But that was probably the first like successful, I guess, open source project of 2025 at least. And then what else was there? Kibo is a lot of like what people know me for. I think I started this probably around like March or April or something like that. And basically it's like a ShadCN registry where we were building all of these custom components, but like trying to keep them in the vein of like ShadCN UI where they're like really composable. So if I take something insane like the Gantt chart, for example, right? This is like a fully featured Gantt chart that you can use in like your project. But you can see like it's fully composable. You can like tear it apart. You can like reassemble it. It's not just like one giant component that you import. So we were really trying to keep that composability layer of ShadCN UI. So this went really well. We did a couple of blocks, but I think towards the end, I think patterns was the thing that we were really focused on, like rolling out, like 1,100 patterns of just like different ways that you can use ShadCN UI. But this project was split. We started off with a bunch of AI components, like conversations and messages and all that sort of stuff. I ended up donating that part of it to Vercel, which to talk about a project that I'll cover in a bit. But the remainder of this project got acquired by ShadCN blocks. They're really cool. You should check out what ShadCN blocks are doing. Their blocks are just amazing. So that's 2 out of 2 so far. I got 2 acquisitions. The project that I'm mainly focused on right now is called Ultrasite. It's like, well, I mean, you can read it, but it's a production grade 0 config like linter and formatter. So up until maybe a month ago, it was biome only. So think of a biome preset, and it's like ShadCN blocks is a different company. Yeah, Rob Austin runs it. Really cool guy. So think of Ultrasite as like, it was like a biome preset. So it's like hundreds and hundreds of rules, all figured out for you. And then it's also got sort of like agent and editor integration. So when you set it up, when you run like Ultrasite in it, you choose the formatter that you want to use. You choose what frameworks that you're using, what editors that you're using, what agents you want to enable, Git hooks, agent hooks, all that sort of stuff. And then it wires up your project so that your editor and your agents and your formatter all talk to each other properly, and they all know how to work together. So yeah, exactly. It's like the ESLint Airbnb config, but not terrible. So up until about a month ago, it was biome only. And we just released V7, which has got support for biome as one preset. And then ESLint Prettier Stylelint is a second preset. And then OXLint/OX format is the third preset. So we're trying to like create that layer of abstraction on top of these linters so that your entire setup is supposed to be like almost 0 config. So if I go like, I'm running biome on next, that's your entire config for your project. It's just like extend biome core, react, and next, and then you're good to go. Or it's like I'm running OXLint on my Astro project. You extend core and Astro, and you're good to go. So I think this is probably my main project right now. This is where I'm putting a lot of my my eggs, so to speak. Oh, I almost forgot. Yeah, we just rolled out this thing called Ultrasite Cloud. So I was thinking like a lot of people are using Ultrasite. Obviously, they're running it locally and they're running it as part of their, part of their like CI pipeline. But for more proactive developers who want to like keep a really clean code base, we've got this thing called Ultrasite Cloud, which I'll jump onto it. But effectively you can like add all of your repos in here, and then it does a daily run and then a PR review run. So every day it basically like spins up a sandbox, pulls your project in, you know, like runs ultrasight on it, and then sees if there's any issues, and then tries to fix them either like manually or with programmatically or with AI. And then it does like a PR back to the repo, so helps you keep your project clean. Let's see what else there is. Oh, I guess, okay, the next one I should probably talk about is AI elements. So the motivation behind the name for Ultrasight, yeah, I play a lot of Fallout. Unofficially, I didn't say that. I definitely didn't steal the word. So AI elements was the first project that I worked on when I got to Vercel. So I had, like I said, I had all these Kibo UI components, like AI components for conversations, for messages, for tool calls, whatever. But as soon as I started at Vercel, we needed like a library internally to help us build all of these chat apps that we were doing, you know, like Chat SDK, V0, all the like microsites and stuff like that. So I ended up donating the AI components to them to create this. And so this is, if you've used the AI SDK or AI Gateway, this is basically the UI library that we maintain alongside of that. So if I go into it, we've got components for a chain of thought, and like it's all, you know, it's fully composable, exactly like it's built on top of ShadCN. Checkpoints, confirmations, you know, conversations where we like figure out, you know, automatic scroll to bottom and all that sort of stuff, you know, plans, input prompts, all that sort of stuff. So, and it's really growing. Like there's a ton of components in here now. So this is one of the 2 or 3 projects that I maintain at Vercel, is AI elements. You should definitely give it a try if you're building chat apps. But while I was building AI elements, there was one part of it which was really, it just kept growing in complexity. You know, it was like, it wasn't something that fit really easily into like a ShadCN UI component, which was this. It was the response from the LLM. So if you think about, a lot of people use React Markdown for this right now, but if you think about it, there's like so much stuff that you need to do to create a really good chat experience. There's like the typography, there's the plugins, you know, you need like Remark GFM and like a bunch of Rehype plugins. There's rendering code blocks, and if you want your code blocks to be really cool, like you can download them or like copy the content, you know, you need that. There is like mathematics support, there's Mermaid support, there's like so much stuff that you've got to do. So my second project I've been working on at Vercel, by the way, these are all open source, is Streamdown. We just released version 2 this morning. I haven't announced it yet. That's going out on X in 2 hours. But Streamdown is basically a replacement for React Markdown, and it's specifically designed for streaming. So it's got all these optimizations built in, and it's got all these like really cool like built-in features. So it's like React Markdown is on the left. You know, you have to do the typography by yourself. Streamdown on the right, it's already done for you. Like caret indicators, which I think we just added. GitHub flavored Markdown built in, so you can do tables and that sort of stuff. And they're all interactive, like you can copy the content, download it, whatever. Better support for like Chinese, Japanese, Korean languages. I didn't even know that was a thing until I started becoming a Markdown wizard. Code blocks are automatically like built and formatted for you. It's got support for like mathematical expressions. It's got support for like interactive mermaid diagrams, where you can like move them around and play with them. And then this is one of the biggest things. This is one of the reasons that we wanted to build Streamdown in the first place, is unterminated Markdown blocks. So typically what happens when you're streaming Markdown, this is like why it's extremely different to rendering Markdown, is you actually see the Markdown syntax when it's incomplete. See, it's like a double star or a single star. Whereas with Streamdown, we auto-complete that so that you actually stream in the style that you're supposed to be looking at. Anyway, so AI elements, the message part got so complicated that we had to split that out into Streamdown, and then Streamdown, the healing logic, like this stuff became so complicated that we had to split that out into a package called Remend. So this is the third package that I maintain at Vercel, this is effectively the core of Streamdown. I call it self-healing Markdown. but it's an unbelievable amount of like complicated regexes so that you can pass in broken markdown and it will actually give you like fixed markdown ready to like render onto a page. So I will stop talking about Vercel stuff for a bit. What else did I do last year? Okay, so there was a rate, which I don't have a website for, but I made this like, this was like very early 2025. I made an AI toolkit, like an AI SDK, but for speech. I ended up donating that to the AI SDK team, and then now it's actually part of the AI SDK. So if you use the generate speech functions or the transcribe functions of the AI SDK, that is originally from my Array library. And then I smashed out three smaller apps just for fun. So the first one is called Tersa, which is like, it's like a visual canvas for building like AI workflows. So for example, you've got like a text field here. I don't know if I can, oh yeah, I can zoom in. I've got a text field here where I've just written about delphiniums, and then, which is like a flower, by the way. I've attached that to an image node, and then I've used GPT-1 to like generate the image. And then I've attached that to a video node, which is using like Runway Gen 4 Turbo, and I'm using that to animate the image. So you can create like these really interesting workflows where you can, I know one guy uses this to like generate game assets. So like he goes from text, generates different individual like clothing items for a character, and then he animates each one of them and like connects them together and stuff. It's really, really cool. So yeah, a bunch of different models in here that you can use as well. Like image models, you've got a ton. Text models, you've got like an unbelievable amount. So that's Tersa. There is Eververse. This one is like, I think I only open sourced it at the start of the year, at the start of 2025, but this was probably my first open source application. This is like an open source product management platform. So if you're, if you work at like a product management team inside of a company, this is the sort of stuff that you would use. Like it's an alternative to like product board or cycle. So it's like you can take feedback from a bunch of different places and triage them against different features. You can like run initiatives in here. You can plan your entire like feature roadmap, and then when you're actually ready to ship, you can use the Kibbo UI components inside of Eververse to like put together a roadmap. Last one, npm.bet, which is this is like npm trends, except it looks slightly better. So by the way, this is what Ultrasite looked like a year and a half ago. No users. And then, but yeah, I think those are all the things that I've been doing.
Nice. Thanks, Hayden. Man, like what a year. 2025 was crazy for you.
It's been wild.
And I even saw that npm.dev project. It was on the last live stream on a review. Really cool. And I think that I used like most of your projects. Really awesome. Thank you, man.
I appreciate that.
And next one, yeah, I wrote down some of the questions. So guys, leave all those questions for the Q&A later. And we have 3 more. First one, let's go, Virgil. Let's hear about your 2025.
Hey everyone. So yeah, okay. So like when I started 2025, I was not really focusing on coding. I was a bit burnt out. I was working at a company and for like 3 years, and I needed some change. And as you know, when you're a bit burnt out and the morale is low, you don't code a lot and you're not passionate about it. So I proceeded to quit my job that year in 2025, and I did some things that I'm going to show real quick. I'm going to share my screen. So open source wise, I've not yet contributed. I feel like I've not yet contributed to open source yet, but it doesn't mean I've not pushed a lot of code on GitHub. And one of the contributions I'm most proud of is the videos I've made on YouTube. So I've done some courses on a French YouTube channel about my favorite framework, which is Remix. And so as a developer, when I started learning React and Remix, there was no French resources to learn remix. There was like only candidates who did videos in English. And I wanted to be that French candidates doing remix videos. And so I set out this very ambitious goal to create content about it during the year. And I've released some videos that performed quite well. Like this one, for example, is a full remix course. And I have some repositories about like a remix stack with a mono repo with Nest.js. So this is like 32 stars, which is the most stars I've had on GitHub. So that's my small contributions, I guess. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous, guys. It's my first stream. So
just relax.
So yeah, so I've done a couple courses. Like there is that open source CMS called Strappy, and I did a full course on it. I really liked it. I'm using it a lot. I did a course on Nest.js, and I did a lot of videos on Remix. In 2025, it was a year of experimentation because AI kept getting better, like AI models kept getting better. And when I started the year, I was like using maybe Copilot autocomplete, but that's it. And I quickly realized that vibe coding is here to stay and it's amazing. And so I had to like experiment a lot. So I built a lot of websites with like V0, for example. I have a V0 full of websites I've built. Like for example, for my mom, for my aunt, I tried a lot of like websites to push AI to its limits. And yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for fumbling so hard. And then I also went to like 3 conferences to meet more people. So this year was really the year where I went to the most conferences in my life. And that's where I discovered the community and the world of open source. So I started with React Paris in March, where I met Ken Sidard and Francois and many other people. That was amazing. And then I went to like StrappyConf, also in Paris, where I met the Strappy team. That was amazing also. And the last conference I've been with was Remix Jam in October in Toronto, where I met many incredible people, including, of course, the Remix team. And that was really inspiring. And so in 2026, my goal is to keep doing that. Like now I'm not burnt out anymore, and I'm going to publish way more content about my processes and how I approach coding and things like this. And last thing I did, that's not open source, but I'm working full-time on Blitzreels right now. And I'm going to show you real quick what Blitzreels is. It's a closed source video editor in the browser and with AI agent capabilities. And to make this happen, I'm using every piece of software that you guys have built on the stream. Like I'm using a lot of AI elements and AI SDK from Hayden. I can show you the AI chat right now, real quick. It's loading, it's taking a bit of time to load, but I've implemented the full like AI elements inputs, like the model selector, the context size, and yeah, I mean, AI suggestions, and there is like an AI agent with like 60 tools, and that has been awesome to build. It's still buggy, but it's honestly something I'm pretty proud to show.
Awesome, looking good.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I guess that's about it. Like, this year has honestly impacted me because all of these AI tools and these new workflows that we get to learn, and also we kind of have the worry of is AI going to replace us? So, so yeah, very cool times ahead. Anyways, and yeah, I plan to share a lot more resources this year. So yeah, I don't know how to end this. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. You were great. No worries. It was really great. Thank you very much, Virgil.
No problem.
Thank you for sharing this. And next one, we have Mr. Alem, the legend behind TenStack AI.
Hey guys, let me just share my screen first. It should be shared, right?
It is. It just needs to be. There it is.
Okay, awesome. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to my segment of the live stream show. So if you don't know me, I've built a lot of dev tools. And when I say dev tools, I don't mean like normal dev tools, but dev tools for dev tools. And it all started with React Router like a few years ago. And I built like dev tools for React Router. And I'm not gonna go too much into detail, but basically you can do a lot of stuff with it, like see hydration errors, console logs, and stuff like that. You can go to source in the editor, blah 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 blah. And this year kind of started off slow, and in the middle of it, around July, August, September, I'm not even sure what the month was. Corbin from the TenStack team reached out to me, and he's the lead on TenStack Forum. And he actually asked me if I would be able to help them build their own dev tools. And the reason they needed dev tools, like a custom library on top of everything, is because they had router dev tools and query dev tools, and both of them had like floating bubbles, and they would overlap each other. So you would have to like move one in one corner, then the other one in the other one. And then there are other dev tools that needed to be added, like other libraries like Pacer, Form, and stuff like that. So I'm not really sure where you would put like 9 or 10 bubbles on the screen, so that would kind of be a problem. And what I decided to help them with is build the dev tools. And basically what we did was we decided to build a dev tool. All right, awesome. This doesn't work for some reason. All right, so TenStack dev tool. Yeah, I'm guessing probably somebody's pushing something to the docs page as usual. So TenStack DevTools is basically a harness for DevTools, and you can not only plug TenStack DevTools into them, but you can plug any DevTools into them. And yeah, basically it's a DevToolception in a way, because you can just put a lot of DevTools there. And yeah, it worked like a charm. So you could put like query DevTools, router DevTools. Later on, I played with some utilities to make it easy to add DevTools. So we added them to Pacer, and then later on Form. So Form and Pacer use my event-driven system that basically emit events on the event target, and then you have these event buses that go from the client to the server and talk to each other. So you can like emit events on the server, they show up on the client by you just listening to an event. And then Remix 3 announced their event system, which was kind of very similar to what I've built. So that was like really cool for me as an affirmation of building a correct architecture. And basically, that's kind of how I got into like becoming a TenStack maintainer. And after that, after a few months of building that, I kind of had this talk with Tanner and everybody on the team, and we wanted. So I personally wanted to get more into AI because I was seeing that it was getting better and better. And my biggest issue with that was, besides like the AI SDK from Vercel, there was like no other competitors or anything, and I just wanted to like play with a few other packages to like figure out what would be the best abstraction, how to like use it properly and stuff like that. And after talking with them for a little bit, we actually decided to build TenStack AI. And now I hope that the homepage for, okay, this doesn't work either. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the TanStack homepage here and continue talking because we don't want to look at the error screen all the time. Yes, I guess we killed TanStack. So basically what we decided to do was build TanStack AI, and for now it's like in early alpha, and we have a bunch of blog posts going over which don't work either. All right, so there. Yeah, this is kind of killing my presentation, but just roll with it. So basically, we are building TanStack AI, and the idea behind it was to basically allow people to have another flavor of SDK that talks to AI providers. At the moment, we're on early alpha, and we actually have a long way to go to get to a point where we are happy with the features that we offer. But it's been a really exciting launch because after launching, we had like 1,000 GitHub stars in like 24 hours, which was kind of crazy for me because I have never personally built anything of that scale that reached that many GitHub stars in like a day. So that was really crazy for me. And yeah, we are building a lot of cool stuff, and the TanStack AI is really cool. I build it. I kind of always think of it as building it for myself. Because, like I said, I wanted to get into AI more, and I really didn't have a great way to do that. And building TanStack AI is my way of venturing into AI, and now I'm way too deep into it, and I've almost gotten to a point where I don't write like code by hand anymore. It's getting pretty cool what you can do with these models and how accurate they can be. So yeah, that's kind of my story and what I've been doing this last year, and that's been kind of really cool. And I'm also an educator on Epic Web. I joined Kenzie Dodds. I think that happened like earlier this year. Yeah, I did around summer as well. So I'm currently working on like teaching people how to use React Router, and I'm actually working on a workshop to teach people how to use TanStack AI in their applications, how to use it in React Router or wherever they want, and how to like generate images, generate videos, generate text, whatever. And yeah, that kind of sums up what I've been doing this year.
Awesome. Thank you, Alan. Really happy to see all these new tools coming up. I hope that your documentation will be fixed soon.
Yeah,
okay, now me, I will try to be quick. I'm the last one remaining. So my 2025 was pretty awesome, I would say. Now, first thing that happened that I would like to say is that I went full-time content creation mode. So from like 2-3 months ago, I actually started to build like all these things open source and all these things like full time. So now I'm actually like in that full grinding mode, which is really good. I don't have all those like 8 hours getting some company getting you from me. And if you can share now my screen. So I had first project is 8BitCN, of course, like that's my like most famous project currently, that famous retro shed CN. And you have here all these like goodies with all these things. And I want to thank in this moment to all sponsors that made this possible. We can see also some people from here. We have here Qualify and Inbound, Andras and Ryan, help you guys. Thank you guys for this one, not help you. And we also have Shetsy and Blocks, as Hayden was mentioning them earlier. So thank you for this one. And also I want to mention all the contributors. There were so many, I don't even know, like 30 contributors for 8BitCN, and this is why I love open source. And this is why I'm inviting you to join the Horde, because we are building all these nice open source. I want to put this join.thehorde.dev, my favorite subdomain I created ever. To join the mighty Horde, our Discord channel, there we have a community. We can see here also, we can see Hayden, we can see so many, we can see Dima from the Horde. We see so many people that we have there, Chendai, we have here Frankie, Mr. Francois. So thank you guys for this one. This is what open source is about, and that's why I'm creating all these live streams and all this show to show you that this is awesome. Open source is awesome. And that's the second thing that I want to mention. So we have here this, the Horde Discord channel, I see that you guys are coming in here right now. So it has 960 users inside of this channel. And this is something that I changed this year. So in 2025, this channel is no longer about me. It is actually about a community, about the Horde. So it is no longer org dev. It's changed here to the Horde. And that's the way how I want to somehow like to contribute even more to open source. And we are creating also this, the horde.dev, which will be, I think, really awesome. I want here, like, I'm calling all you guys that are on the live stream right now to come here and to contribute, because I want the horde.dev to be like the best place for open source developers, where we can have like all kind of like projects that we can connect to other developers. Let's call it like some kind of social network for GitHub developers or something like that. Let's say upgraded GitHub. So we can come here and we can see, for example, we can here see Alem, that he worked on 10stack AI, on DevTools, etc. So I think that this project will be pretty big, but let's talk about that in the next segment. So first, now what I was doing, I had a lot of open source projects, and most of them were for my videos. So those are mostly some kind of playgrounds, let's say for some kind of beginner level. For example, this Better Off starter, it has 323 stars. This is not really a starter. It's more like some kind of playground where you come if you don't know how to do something, like, for example, some advanced things like Better Auth admin, or some roles or something like that. You come here, you see how it's done inside of the code, you check it out, and you're good to go. You can just apply it to your project, or you can check out the video about implementation of that stuff. So that's mostly how I create my open source projects, and that's how I get like my stars and views on those projects. If you check them here, there is also this YouTube to blog, and my plan for that one, it's also like some kind of video thing, youtube2blog.com, this one. So it's just like you put in the YouTube URL and you get a blog out of your YouTube video, and you can just put it on your website or wherever you want. So that was just like some 1-2 days project, and that's usually what I'm doing. And from there, I see like if it's getting any traction or not, and that's it. And one project that I want to talk about is the githubcreature.com. You can see now the new landing page. Check this one out. Like, this is my new favorite project. And you put in your GitHub username and you get your awesome looking card. Like we see here, this Aboleth Dominator from ShredCN generated, and you have your own stats. So if you check here, for example, the leaderboard, and we have this guy with 99,000 contributions. He's probably some kind of bot. I don't know if I should like delete him. But if we check, for example, this Ancient Blue Dragon, we see that he has this legendary card, and that means that his power level is 10. And here we can see the contributions, followers, stars throughout his previous year. So I'm planning a lot of things on this project, and I will tell you about that later. But now we have to move on because we don't have that much time, and I want to hear all of you like saying like all your things that we are going to build next. So let's go on to the next segment, and that is, I want to ask you guys the question: what do you want to stop doing or do less of in 2026? So something that drained your energy in 2025, you don't want to do it that much anymore. So what is that? I'm asking right now. Let's see. Hayden, you're the first one on my screen.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good question. I would say, I think over the last week especially, I've realized that I have more ideas than time. So one of the things I've been trying to do is to stop manually coding as much and start like trusting, especially in Opus 4.5, right? Because like prior to Opus 4.5, you get a bit like sketch results, right? But yeah, trying to be a bit more hands off the code and do more of like architecture and direction than physical coding is probably, yeah, that's probably what I should be focused on at the moment.
Nice, good answer. Awesome. Thank you, Francois. You're next on my screen.
I would say the opposite, actually. I've been for the last 3 weeks. I've been going all in on agentic coding and vibe coding, I guess you could call it that. And I find it not as fun as sometimes just writing the code myself, because agreed, it is not as scalable. But for some things that you want to build, I find it more enjoyable to do it the manual way, because I find it easier to design the things that I want to do with code myself rather than through prompting. So obviously, I want to find ways to use these tools the most efficient manner possible. And so learning how to use them well will be a good part of what I will do in 2026, finding the good things that work, things that don't, and sharing the learnings in the process. But at the moment, for the next couple of weeks, I think I will go back to writing code myself. Like, I literally went pen and paper last night just to put some ideas completely offline and completely without computers, distractions and stuff. And that felt great, to be fair. I felt really good, like writing down the plan that I wanted to do, like literally planning, not with Opus, but with pen and paper, and then going back to the code and writing it myself. That felt good. So I think sometimes we just need to do a brain workout and just go back to building the way we like to do, because at the end of the day, we need to still be able to engineer things. And sure, AI can do a lot of the heavy lifting of writing the code, but the way we design it, the way we architect it, the way we engineer it, I think that still has to come from us. Otherwise, we are completely replaceable. So I think, yeah, doing more of these workouts would be useful, and less of just letting the robots do all the work. That'll be my the thing I want to do less, I guess.
Nice. Thank you, Francois. And the next one, we have Virgil. What do you want to stop doing less in 2026?
I'm like Hayden. I want to code less and experiment more and build more projects. Like, AI is wonderful, and Cloud Code and all of these AIs is wonderful. V0 is wonderful, honestly. I mean, so your comment, and it is incredible. Here are some use cases that I was talking before, but like, my aunt plays solitaire, and she plays on Facebook. And there are ads that are like closing her game mid-game, and she has to go all over again. Before AI, I would never imagine building a solitaire game for her, right? Because it's too complicated and don't learn the rules. But with V0, I prompted and I asked AI to build it. And well, she's not using it, but you see the idea. Like, you can solve problems for your family or close ones with AI, even if you don't know anything about coding. And I think that's amazing. And that is, I have a lot of friends who like have custom use cases, and AI enables me to like build personal software just for them. Like, it's not like building a SaaS or something, just a personal app for their own use case. And it costs like nothing. It costs the subscription that I'm paying for work. So it's amazing. So yeah, I mean, doing less, okay. What do I want to do less? Doubting myself, preventing myself from creating content because I'm like, nobody's gonna be interested in that. Yeah, I'm being worried, being nervous. Like, I have to share all of my ideas, and people will find them.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm still not confident with creating content online, and I have a small audience, but that's also because I doubted, and I was like, I took time to, I doubted, I was scared of posting, and that's what I want to do less this year. I want to be less scared.
Thank you, Virgil. Next one, we have Andras.
Yeah, so, well, the people before me already told everything that I would like to get rid of in this year, but basically what I would like to achieve is to make more projects, to make more my stuffs, my ideas to be a reality, let's say, and not just sitting in a note or something like that. So I would like to get rid of, or let's say I would like to get rid of the manual stuff that I'm doing with Coolify, with the communities, with the issues, basically. So I would like to automate a lot of things, so I will have time to do other things, basically. And yeah, not sure what else, because I think I'm mostly productive all the time, mostly, but yeah, there are things that I would like to get rid of for sure, but I don't have an exact thing except that I already said. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Andras. Next one, we have Alim.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with Hayden the most in terms of what I want to do. And last year I actually closed my agency that I had a co-founder with, and ever since then I've been working on open source mostly like for free, and I've been doing it for the last 2 or 3 months, and like my burn rate is starting to catch up with me. And yeah, I decided to build my own SaaS as well, and to try to fund myself to build open source so it's kind of sustainable. And I kind of feel like the last a few months, the biggest bottleneck for myself has been myself, because I just can't write the code fast enough and get the ideas I have in my head out there fast enough. And AI has enabled me to do so much more in the last few months. Like I don't do vibe coding. I don't like just say, hey, do this and then just commit it. I go through the code in a very rigorous manner. I like do 20 edits on a single file sometimes, but it has enabled me to like ship so much faster and so much more software, and it's like incredible because, for example, 10-Stack AI, most of the features I didn't write by hand. I just told the AI what it needs to do, and then iterated like 20, 30 times on it until it got it perfect. But like I wrote tens of thousands of lines of code, and the other day I actually kind of tried to figure out how much code I can write by hand, and I was doing it on open source because that's kind of the hardest code to write, and you write the least amount of lines. And I managed to write 1,000 lines of code in a day, so I coded for like 8 hours straight without a break, and I wrote 1,000 lines. And then I kind of tried doing a lot of AI stuff, and like I could easily pump out a few thousand lines of code per day, like around the same amount of quality as I wrote it by hand. And the more guardrails I added in, the closer the quality got to what I was writing by hand. And now the SaaS I'm building, I've added so many guardrails that at this point, when I write it a detailed plan of what to do, it writes the code that I would have written by hand in like weeks, in like a few hours. And I feel like it feels like magic, because you just can't believe how much you can get done by just using AI. And and like before Opus 4.5, it wasn't the same, at least for me. You would ask like the other models to write code, but the results were iffy. And especially for open source, you couldn't write open source with like older models. It just produced slop that's like unusable. But like with Opus 4.5, I was like, what the heck changed? Because it went from like being bad to like amazing in like one model iteration. It's like crazy. So yeah, that's kind of what I want to do more, is like just get to a point where I can automate as much as I can and use AI as much as I can to like write the ideas I have in my hand, instead of me just writing it by hand, that it writes it for me.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Alan. More guests than viewers. Okay. And last one, we have Francesco.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be quick here. In 2026, I want to do less random stuff, because usually what I've been doing probably these 5 years, when I had an idea, I was just executing. I'm quite good at executing, a bit less good in organizing and, let's say, plan stuff. So I'll probably do less random live events, less random spaces, less posts on social media, less events. And someone might say, oh, no, my God, but trust me, my less is good for me. I will, of course, answer less one-on-one DMs because I want to give priority to, for example, these live events when I can help more people at the same time. I will do less talk-only podcast. I try better to just invite someone and just try to build something, or like to do like a real technical collaboration, and basically less rush with H, less rush to do things. For example, now I have an upcoming bootcamp on Friday. Usually, when I have an idea, I would just want to execute it. Like, I have this idea, let's just do it next week. I'm trying to plan more, and in my case, it's a good thing. So this is basically being more intentional in what I do. This is, I think that's the missing piece. Since I'm also now a full-time content creator, I would say we have to do the real stuff, and also more organization, and of course, and then I'll keep that for the more. But this is what I hope to achieve in 2026, and also less not posting videos while I'm going to conferences. So I'll try basically to keep the pace with my channel when I'll go to conferences around the world. That's it.
Thank you, Francesco. That's a good one, actually. Really, really good answer. And only me, like, I will be short. I want to somehow organize time better and to less procrastinate on scrolling the Twitter and things like that. I need somehow like to organize, to put my Twitter scrolling in some kind of time section so I can go and start doing those things like planned, and not to just do it like every time like something is happening and I have a pause for 1 second. I go to x.com and I just start like watching something. So I want to organize my time better. I think that's the biggest thing for my like organization in 2026. And now we have the Q&A section. So let me see, where is this Q&A thingy right here? So let's hear your questions. And I wrote down one question that was like repeated for 4 or 5 times, and that's how to get audience for open source projects. So somebody maybe wants to answer that question. I think this one, this is a good question.
I think I answered it in the chat from one person who asked it, and it's the answer for me was a talk that I saw live by Andrei Sitnik, the creator of PostCSS, auto prefixer, size limits, and lots of open source tools at Evil Martians. And his talk was how to make your open source project popular. And it's a set of little tips and guidelines that you can follow to increase the visibility of your project. And it's actually something that OrgDev, you do a lot, is giving advice like this on the OSS review stream that you do every week. And it's the little things that you can improve your open source project to make its visibility more reachable by others. And a lot of it comes to having a good README, like having something that showcases your project. You just land on the GitHub repo and instantly you know the value prop of what you're building, and then talking about it on social media, making it public. And those two things already do a lot in terms of making it more visible by people. So I don't know if anyone wants to add on top of that, but that would be the recommendation I had. I'll find the link to the chat, but how to make your open source project popular on YouTube. Tap that and you'll find the talk.
Awesome. Thanks, Francois. Somebody wants to add maybe something? Here we have again the same question. So this is basically the same, like how to get audience for your open source project.
I would just say, yeah, talk about it on X. Like, so Ultrasite, that project that I was showing before, had effectively no users for like 4 years, right? From like 2021 to from 2020 to 2024, it was like maybe 100 weekly downloads or less. And then as soon as I became extremely X-pilled and started posting every day, sometimes about Ultrasight, sometimes about other stuff, but I started layering in content and layering in, like, instead of doing a changelog through the Ultrasight website, I would just do it on X instead, and that worked out extremely well.
Yeah, that's really a good example of showcasing your open source things. Awesome, thanks. And while you are there, we have 2 questions for you, Hayden. So first one, here it is.
Question. I built a GitHub README generation tool. If I use Streamdown in it, is there any chance I can get selected in the Vercel OSS? I mean, look, we do like applications that use the Vercel stack, right? I'm not gonna lie. So if you use Streamdown, if you host on Vercel, that does award you some points. But fundamentally with the OSS program, I would focus more on having a really good vision for where you wanna take your project. And also a really strong community. So that doesn't mean that it's already got 50,000 stars on GitHub. It means that the people who are using it love it, and they're very loyal to the project, because it means that despite scale, you've got something that solves a problem and that people actually enjoy using. There's a really good developer experience. So I would focus on those parts, but using Streamdown can't hurt.
Awesome. And one more from Hanil. Here it is. He's a creator of Wiggle, very cool project. We saw it on review on the Horde live stream.
Yeah, sure. 2 questions. Can you share the story behind your X banner image around Malta? And would you be open to check out Wiggle UI? All right, yeah. Wiggle UI. Send me a link in the like YouTube chat, and I'll check it out. The thing with Malta, what was it? I gotta double check on. It was. Oh yeah, we were talking about Claude, and I don't remember the exact conversation, but I vaguely remember saying like telling Claude something, and then it told me something back, and then I just said like, you're absolutely wrong, and then it came back and said like, you're absolutely right, I am absolutely wrong. And we were just talking about like Claude, I don't know, Sonnet 4.0 or something, and then Malta comes back and says like, just as a joke towards Claude, like, oh, you're absolutely full of shit. But because it's a reply to me, if you take it out of context, it looks hilarious. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna make that my banner photo.
Awesome. And we don't have Wiggle URL yet, but you'll check that one later. We have again the same question: how to get audience to my open source project. Okay, let's move on. We'll have another Q&A section later, because there are no more questions right now. We can remove this Q&A thingy, and we are moving on to the next one, and that's what do we want to focus in 2026. Now I know we are a little bit out of schedule, but let's try to answer this one somehow. So let's first remove this comment from here. Okay, let's hear you, Hayden, while you're there. What do you want to focus on in 2026?
Yeah, I mean, so we talked a little bit about it with like stuff that we want to stop doing, but I guess I think my answer for that, right, was just like use more AI and be more hands off the tools and that sort of stuff. I think that actually contributes to what I do want to do, which is like start picking up hobbies, or like do more of my hobbies that I wouldn't previously have been able to do because I was just coding 24/7. So I've like, for example, I've finally retaken up cooking, actual cooking, not like code cooking, which is nice. And it's like, but I can actually do that now because I can just like let Opus cook on my code base, and then I can go and like make something, which is cool. Traveling is a lot easier because like rather than having to have like a 3 monitor setup, I can just like bring my banged up MacBook Pro and have Opus running on the code base. So I think that what I do want to have is like a lot more of a sort of work-life balance, and I, in a strange way, I think over like investing more into using AI will actually help with that.
Awesome. Thanks, Hayden. Next one, we have Francois.
Yes.
And your plans for 2026?
There's lots of plans for Nux, obviously. So rewriting some of the core to be able to have dev tools so that we can have a better understanding of what it does under the hood. Obviously, going over the issues and PRs and maybe have agents help me with that. We'll see. There's one thing I want to focus on as well. It's I've been talking to you, OrgDev, to Alem, to Virgil, about how to make people sound good on YouTube. And this is something that I want to focus on. I want to create a mini course to explain how microphones work, how you can use them well, and that you don't necessarily have to buy expensive equipment to do that. So I started building a few things with Cloud Code over the winter holidays, and that gave me a lot of ideas of what I can actually build for this to make it interactive and not just a series of video that you just speed watch. So this will actually be a very good idea on how to experiment with the Web Audio API, because everything will be in the browser, how to control video elements, and how to make them interact with the application itself. So everything will be intertwined between the interactive elements that you can use to mix and apply effects to the audio, the video playing as well. You can upload your own material and all these things. So lots of ideas of things that I can build. And I started using AI to build that, and I think I need to build the foundations myself first, and then let AI come in and help me build the whole thing. So that will probably be the focus that I will have on Q1, I think, of 2026. And as for the rest, who knows? That's the open question. It's like, we'll see where it takes us from there. So that's
awesome. Thank you, Francois. Can't wait for that one. I think that would be really a cool project. Okay, thank you. And next one, we have Francesco.
Yeah, sure. So if you say that you want to focus on 10 different things, you are not really focusing. So I would say just one single thing, which is that I want to deliver better quality videos. That's it. So everything that has to do with intros, B-rolls, storytelling, audio, but everything will have to do with my videos on my YouTube channel. So this is my focus for 2025, and this is what I will focus the most, of course, because after 5 years on YouTube, I think that it's time to just level up my game. So that's it on my side. I'm super interested into the Francois project, I'll say. It's related to the thing that I want to focus on. That's it.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Francesco. Yeah, actually, your answer is 10 things, but it sounds like one thing. Better videos, it's probably like 100 things. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And we have Andras. What are your plans? And I love your background. You are not prepared.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking a lot what to answer it or what to focus on this year, but basically, I just would like to make more cool open source stuffs, and that's it. And maybe another thing that just came to my mind that if you don't know that I was streaming almost every day for a longer time, but yeah, as we moved in a new house with my family, then I stopped, and yeah, I really miss streaming almost every day. So that is maybe one that I would like to focus on as well.
Awesome.
And maybe
thank you.
It's my more.
Yeah. Live streams. Yeah. Make sure to share your Twitch or wherever you live stream so we can share it with others. Awesome. Thank you. Next one, we have Virgil. Plans for 2026.
So last year I quit my job and I didn't have enough money left. So I had to find work again. And I realized something. Being great at coding doesn't guarantee you a job. It doesn't guarantee you money. And so you have to learn marketing and sales. And I was naive and I thought, let's just build an app and I'm going to become a millionaire. But no, it takes more than that. So this year, I'll build with AI, but I will learn this other skill, that is learning to sell to clients as an agency, selling my product, making sure that when I have imposter syndrome, I tend to price myself very low, so I need to learn to price the right price and to sell and learn marketing and more content. So yeah, that's about it for next year. So basically, like Francesco said, I have like 10 things, but it's okay. Getting better at each 10 of these things is still on the roadmap.
Awesome. Thank you. Good luck, Virgil.
Thank you.
You have this. And we have here the Bosnian legend, Alim.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of like Francesco said, one thing, but it's 20 things behind the scenes. So it's sustainability. As I said earlier, I need to sustain myself, and that's going to be the focus for the first half of my year. I have no idea what's going to be the second half, but yeah. So yeah, producing workshops, doing this testing, and just making sure that I have a light on. Because it turns out that it's really expensive to use like Opus 4.5. So yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my plan for this year.
Awesome. Thank you, Alan. I will be pretty specific for my plans for 2026. I wanted to ask you guys something, and that's for my GitHub Creatures project. Now, because you all know that I love games, so what do you think about a feature where you can choose your 3 cards out of some legends? I don't know, you pick here some card, for example, this Balor right here. And because this is a demon, you have a subtype of fire, devil, etc. And you can actually fight with your cards against other cards. So that is something that I will focus on in the next month. Let's say it's not really 2026, but I think that it is time to this is some perfect moment where I found to merge like fantasy and open source and everything that I love. And I think that this will be interesting that we have, like, for example, we could fight like me, Hayden, and Alem. We could fight Francois, Francesco, and Andras, and we could have some kind of card game. I think that would be pretty cool because we already have like these kind of stats here. I don't know if you can see it. So I'm planning like contributions, some kind of attack, followers, some protection, health, something like that. And stars could be some critical chance. Like we have all the stats we need. We can just create it. I mean, that's something that I'm planning, and I think that 2026 will be perfect year for that. Also creating, of course, a lot of content out of it. I think it's perfect for, it's shareable, like for X platform, for YouTube. I think people love seeing like these fancy things. So I think that it will be really cool. And we have like these funny things. And I was also thinking about how would some like weaker developer, to say it like that, be good if he has a right subtype, and if you're like fighting with level card 1, 3, and 10, then it matters like card 1. But I'll like not to go too deep on this one. Sorry, I get excited when I talk about this project. So those are my plans for 2026, that's for sure. And I'd like to hear, chat, what do you think about this card game? I'm really curious to hear like your opinion on this one.
So what you got to do, you got to make the cards repo based, and then we can have like an entire game of like Gwent from The Witcher against each other just using our repos.
Yes, that makes so much sense. The problem with having personal profiles is that sometimes you contribute to things like in organizations, like Alem in 10stack AI, for example. And so
Yes.
he doesn't have access to all the stars that he gets from the 10stack AI things. Same for me with Nux, because it's in an organization. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense to be doing this per repo.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Yeah. And I mean, there are so many things that can be done here. And we also have here, for example, Shed Cien, and he has, I think, only 2,000 contributions, probably because he's doing it somehow through some organization or something. I don't know if this is real, and only 700. This is also stars because it's under the organization. So yeah, definitely need to think about stats a little bit more. But thank you guys for the ideas. I'll definitely work on this one in future. Awesome. And that's it for what are we going to do in 2026. And now we have the final section, and that's speaker to speaker questions. So you guys can ask anyone from here, from the guests. So each speaker can ask one specific question to another speaker. Let's go. Any volunteers here? I wanted to ask Ryan something, but Ryan is not here.
I have a question for many of you guys, actually.
Okay.
So probably from Andras and Hayden, like, how do you handle huge volumes of issues and traffic on popular repos? Like, how do you handle a project that starts small and then becomes extremely popular over time? Like, how the scale of it, essentially.
You first, Andres.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I think how to handle it. Well, I lost a lot of hair during the years, so that's one way to handle it. Yeah, but yeah, from if we talk seriously, then yeah, it's really hard because I had to, let's say, pay people to help me because I just couldn't do it on my own. So I tried it, but it was just basically me doing 8 hours of community stuff, issue stuff, I don't know, writing back, asking questions and so on. And basically I did not write any code for a week. And I was not went through all the issues and everything. So, and after a week, I had to start it again because, yeah, some questions are answered. So basically, I had to be in this loop. So at the moment, I think, at least for me, the best way to handle this is to ask for help. Basically, the community also helping a lot. So they are helping each other on Discord or in issues and everything. And that is super cool to see. But yeah, I don't know any other way. So this question is also, I'm interested in this question as well, or at least the answer.
Well, not to be a complete Claude Code shill, but I've started. So my biggest problem is not so much the number of issues coming up on one repo; it's the number of issues coming up on multiple repos. So I've got to do like stream down, AI elements, NextForge, Ultraside, Tersa, et cetera, right? So it's the fact that they're all coming into all of those different projects that's the tricky part. So what I typically do is I'll pick one day where I'll focus on one particular project. So it'll be like today, considering we're doing a stream down launch in like an hour or something, it's probably going to be stream down day. So I'm going to jump in there. I'll probably like peruse the issues and start like tagging them as like, bug enhancement or whatever. But then as I'm doing that, I'll probably get the bug issues and then I'll open up like new Claude Code instances and I'll be like, hey, can you investigate this issue? And then as it's doing that, I'll just go back to GitHub and then, keep like filtering and tagging and sorting and stuff like that. I find that to be incredibly useful because most of the time, Opus 4.5 can come up with a pretty good solution to that problem, assuming that it's like logical and programmatic. And if it's not, then I'll just I'll come back to it later on when I have time to actually dive into it. But that helps me knock out 80% of the given issues at any given time.
Yeah, that is why I'm working on Jean, my native application, what I talked about. This is the main focus, which is basically I have all the context on my computer related to the issues, to the PRs, automatically run while I'm sleeping. So when I get up, I see it and could act on it, basically.
Awesome. Okay. Next question from someone. Alim, do you want to ask somebody something?
That's a really good question. Do you want to ask somebody something? So I guess I can ask Francesco. I know you did like a collab with I can't remember her name, Shruti, I think, with
Shruti.
TestXstart. Yeah,
Yes.
so I'm just wondering how was the experience? Did you like it? Well, I'm not sure what your background before Rust was, so yeah, I'm just interested in that.
Yeah, sure. So we skipped the part of what you want to do more content creation 2026. So this is perfect. This is exactly what I was mentioning before. So less podcast and more tech collaboration. I went in Seattle in September. I met Shruti in person. We went to a very spicy chicken fast food. Okay, but we talked about making, instead of just a podcast, a tech collaboration. And I think this is one of the things that might help us in at least fighting AI. So if we have two creators creating a video together, basically I can make a part of the demo, you can make another part of the demo, with which we borrow each other the demo part, and then basically we have two videos, one on my channel, one on your channel, but basically we are halving the cost of the demo. And also we can get different people, and the videos are still different, because on mine I will have my intro, I will give my vibe, whatever, and on your channel you can have yours. I want to explore more this, and one of the people that want to do this also is OrcDev. So I'm up for that. I love that. The outcome was very good. So I want to do less podcast interviews to make more technical collaborations. I already have some. If you have an idea, and if you, I think I will do in Rust my part, 90%. I'm not sure. But if you're interested into doing something, we can for sure try it out. I think it worked very well. And yes, so the short answer was yes. I don't know if I answered, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. My question for all of you guys. Should we work on some project together?
Yes.
What do you think?
You guys can code it, and I'll just like lint and format it.
Yeah. It can be minimal. It
also
doesn't have to
host
be
it, yeah.
something like, but something would be really awesome. And I think that that would be really cool.
Personally, I sent you DMs like every day about building a game.
Yes,
there is
game is a
also-
good thing.
there is
I
also
think we all
Journalizer.
here are probably gamers, so that
Only
would be a
fans for
good.
orc. Only orcs.
Yes.
I mean, I always wanted to create a small multiplayer game. So if you are here, I'm just. I didn't have like so many like online friends like 10 years ago, but it was one of my goals. I started the learning programming seriously using Unity 3D, and I wanted to do this, but I was alone. So if we are up for this project, just count Francesco in.
Awesome.
But I will not playing Alliance, by the way.
That's it. I don't want to ask any more questions. Like Francesco said, the shorter the better. This is what I wanted to hear. Awesome. Anyone else have any Command and Orc Core? More questions for some of the OSS legends here?
I have a question for Alan. When is AI version 1 coming?
Ooh.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, not anytime soon. We have to add a lot of adapters. That's gonna take a lot of time, and then we gotta implement a lot of APIs that we talked about internally. It's funny because when we launched Alpha, we kind of cut out like 60 or 70% of the POCs that we built, just to like make it small enough so people can play with it and give us feedback, because it was huge. And now we just gotta go back to the drawing board, take those POCs and just make them like better and add them in or back in. And yeah, I built some really cool POCs that are really exciting, and I really wanna play around with them, like custom fallbacks and stuff like that. You'll see in the future. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. Even like a beta version, I think it's gonna happen in at least like 5 to 6 months. At least I think that's the timeline, but yeah, we'll see. we also get a lot of like community contributions, so that makes a lot of stuff easier. For example, we have PRs open for like 5 or 6 adapters, I think. So that's gonna help us a lot. But yeah, we'll see. I can't I can't say anything for now. It's too early.
Okay, I have another question for the stream. I'm currently migrating a Next.js app to 10-stack start. I'm on day 5. I'm suffering every day. It is a pain. I don't think Codex or Cloud Code can solve this problem. Who can help me? I can pay you guys. I just need help. Please. Can anybody send me help? I think it's I don't know, it's a Vercel 10-stack integration. Like, it works locally, but it is versioning like the Drizzle Postgres database in the client, and honestly, I'm stuck. I don't know if it's a Drizzle issue, but if someone can send, I need more men. Can someone send?
You can just, Virgil, you can just send it on the Discord chat, and there are like probably 10 people that will help you out there. So
Yeah.
I think it's better there than here on live stream.
If there's a-
Maybe someone is watching that has implemented this, so I'm just.
If you do find out it's a Vercel issue, you can always hit me up, and I'll find the people to help fix it.
Thank you.
Awesome. And we are getting near to the end. It's already 6 p.m. on my side. I don't know what is your time there. This was like really awesome experience. Thank you everyone for coming and joining into this live stream. You are all open source legends, and that's why I called all of you. And like, this was really, really amazing. And I hold you to your word for that project. We just need to think of something. We can like create a group. I'll create it. I'll be proactive about that. So I'll catch you. And thanks everyone for watching. And if you want to ask any of these legends any question, you have all their X profiles in the description of this video on YouTube. So you can go there, follow. You also have there everything like GitHub profiles, YouTube profiles. We're all here like on all of like content creation platforms. So you can go and follow us there, and make sure, I must say it again, to join the mighty Horde. So you have join.thehorde.dev. I think that we're all there on that Discord channel, right? From here, I would say yes. Okay. So you can also ask us any question there. And thank you for joining. And you guys, if you can stay just one more minute. And here we're putting the BRB. See you guys. Enjoy.
See you,
Bye.
folks.